Tonight on Youth on the Move, we meet two individuals who decided to turn their hobby into lucrative ventures. Have you ever played with dolls, making them move or talk? How about masked costumes? In the heart of Kikuyu town, we meet a young man skilled in bringing inanimate objects to life.
Yeah!
I'm Peter Kenyanjui and I'm 26. I do make puppets and costumes. Maybe as you can see in my background, and I make hand puppets and the full body costumes. And what I'm doing right now, I'm making a puppet. Starting to make the head of a puppet. There are several measurements that I do take. That's why maybe you are seeing me with a tape. And it's a very long process. One hand puppet can take like 2 days to make one complete hand puppet.
Peter explains that he crafts different types of puppets, but the size of the puppet is determined by the concept of the shoe. In his workshop, he has a variety.
A hand puppet is like a doll, but it is used for entertainment, and it is used just to entertain kids. Before I started this, ancient days they were used for entertainment, for storytelling, and still we started these using them in churches, and so they are used in churches for entertainment. They can sing songs, they can do memory verses, like they can be used in even those big hotels to entertain kids, and also the full body costumes. We've been seeing them in football pitches, in petrol stations, so they are used just for entertainment, to attract attention, but for the puppet, there is a training that you have to go through for you to use a puppet, because it's not just the hand and just opening the mouth. There is a very good lesson that you go through for you to manipulate this puppet.
According to Peter, puppetry was something he did out of love and interest. As his performance made his audience enthralled, a venture was born.
Out of Form 4, I went and I did mechanic. And but I was still a Sunday school teacher, who I am still. And the first puppets that we had, we were given by a certain missionary. And we saw that they are very fascinating things. But how I came to decide to do this, our puppets got worn out, and we did not have any other source, because importing one hand puppet, it can cost you almost 15,000. Importing one hand puppet. So I decided, why can't I just take one puppet and see how those guys, because we really looked for them here in Kenya. There is no one who makes the puppets or the costumes, and so I decided to try and make one, and it got me almost 6 months before I knew how to make one hand puppet. But later I trained. We used a lot of money to buy materials. We did not know even the favorable materials to make, but I went to Gikomba, gathered some few materials, maybe as you can see here, and I saw the materials and I learned how to make the puppets. Still now I'm still perfecting. I'm not yet perfect. I'm still perfecting, but at least I can make them and people are really happy on what I'm doing and it is helping them.
Due to the complexity of his work, he had to find a balance in which he could successfully carry out his craftsmanship.
I can decide like one day it will be for shopping. I do go to Gikomba, like a full day, maybe 5 I'll be there. I do shop for the materials. I do shop for the foam, the sponges. I do shop for the for everything, for glue, for just everything that I'll need. Now when it comes to work, I do come to work at 8. Then I come at 8. I do. There is a day which I've arranged my days in that there is a day of sewing. There is another day of glue work. There is another day of maybe kuzishikanisha, yani. There is another day ya kuweka macho. There is another day of the hair. I've decided to do that.
Even though he continuously experiments with different designs, he explains that his work requires time and precision.
To make one body costume, it can take 3 days, and that is just the head. So I don't make one puppet at a go because it will cost me a lot of time. What I do, maybe I can sew maybe the bodies or the head alone for a full day. I can sew like 30 heads. And another day, tomorrow I come, I sew the 2 bodies. I sew the 30. Then the other day I come to sew the mouths. I sew the 30 of them. Now when I come to fix them, it can take me just even a half a day.
They say passion is the genesis of genius, and although this is not a one-man job, you'll find Peter busy in his shop working his genius.
For now, I'm doing one-man job, but every time I get a lot of orders, a huge order, there are some guys who come to help me, maybe in glue work, sticking the glue and maybe sticking up the hair. Yeah, so it's not one-man job according to the order that maybe I do receive.
Jesus love is very, very wonderful. Jesus love is very, very wonderful. Jesus love is very, very wonderful. So wonderful love.
All objects have a story to tell, but puppets are objects with rare power and an even rare market niche.
Through WhatsApp, through Facebook, I do market, and but most of the clients, they come through church. When I go to perform, maybe a certain church calls me to perform for them. I do go with costumes. I do go with my guys. They wear the costumes. We do perform the puppetry. Then later they ask, now that you have performed, where can we get these things? I tell them I do make them and I do sell them. And then when those guys do get them, they like trade to another church. That church trade to another church. It's like the multiplication rule.
Peter is as much a businessman as he is a puppeteer. He gives us insight on how much his creation fetches in the yet-to-be-exploited market.
Importing one puppet goes for 15,000 and maybe above. If you import from Britain, it can cost you like 15,000. No, 50,000 if you import from like Britain, Germany. But I decided to do them with like 10%. of that. So I sell them at 1,500 shillings, and some even go for 1,300 shillings. Yeah, and maybe if you like buy 6 or 10 puppets, I can sell you at 1,000. The first mascot that we had, it costed us almost 60,000. Another costed us 35,000. If you decide to import a mascot this time, maybe the character that you want. I have bunnies, the rabbits, I have batiboos, the gorillas, I have the bear, I have the chicken, I do make the Minnie Mouse, the Mickey Mouse, the lions. If you decide to import Mickey Mouse, it will cost you over 80,000. But I do sell them at 15,000. I'm not biased in terms of the cost because I do use the locally available materials, and I do. It is my desire that every person who is desiring to have this thing can afford. Instead of importing them, they can afford locally.
As unique as a business can be, all experience challenges. For Peter,
I had a problem with eyes, the eyes, these eyes. And I was using the kasukus. You see the kasukus? I was like trimming them and then taking the felt pen, I think I have some here, taking the felt pen and like drawing the eyes. Also, you maybe sometimes I use the black and the white materials. I trim them round and then a small black material, and then I fix them. But there are these guys, there are these missionaries who came and saw my work, what I'm doing, and they asked my problem, and I told them the challenge. I told them it's the eyes, and they decided to bring me some eyes, and right now I have very, very, very many eyes, imported ones, and I thank God for that. Yeah, they brought them for free, and I got a lot of eyes that can make almost 200 puppets.
although it has been a couple of years since he first started, many still gaze in wonder at his craft.
A few weeks ago, I had some guys, some missionaries. I'll not mention their names, but they came. They were like four guys from United States. They came and they were so like, what? We never knew that this thing can happen even in Kenya. We never knew that any person can even think of making a puppet or a costume or a mascot in Kenya. They are really, really amazed. My parents love what I'm doing, and because it has helped me, it has helped them, and it has helped the church, it has helped thousands of churches. So people are really happy, they are really amazed, and I do desire that we will be many in this market, that people will decide why don't they use their mind and be creative like I did, so that they may start doing this. Yeah, but they are really happy. They are really happy on what I'm doing.
Puppetry is a complicated field that combines performance and technical skill with craftsmanship and humor.
Thank you so much.
This young man finds complete pleasure in seeing his work in action.
I've performed puppetry, I think now it's for 13 years. But every time I sit down and I see other people perform, whether in a TV, whether they are my guys performing in church, because sometimes maybe I don't perform. I've trained guys to do that. I do love to see even those puppets, and I do love to see it is the work of my hands that I'm seeing there being displayed. Teenagers, youths, children, older women and men, they are enjoying what they are seeing. It is such an adventure, and making this, it makes me feel good. I don't know if there are any person who makes them in Kenya. I've not heard, but making this and seeing them trend, not only in Kenya, but even Tanzania, Uganda, it is such a wonderful adventure. I really feel good, very privileged. I thank God for that.
Opportunity is a necessary step in creating a successful business. For those with creative minds like Peter, here are some quick tips.
Think. Just think. Number 2, think. And number 3, think. Yeah. Because this is all just about just the mind. The number 1, the materials are there. This is just a sewing machine like any other sewing machine. The glue is here, the materials is, everything is locally available. The market is like where are these things. So think, and do it. Yeah, just decide and do it. Yeah, it does not take much. It's just your time, you are thinking, and any person that maybe can decide to start this, you want to be trained, come. I'll train you free of charge. Yeah.
Hello. Why that you can get around. So wonderful love. So wonderful love.
This week on The Scoop, Newton Freeman, a multi-entrepreneur, will take us through the process of planning, starting, and growing a real estate business.
Firstly off, even before you start thinking about it, you need to ask yourself, yes, I am getting into the real estate business. What do I want to do? How do I want to work? You can get into the real estate business as 1, either broker, 2, an agent, 3, as a developer. Those 3 are the main. As a broker, you need to work with a license, you need to be registered and accredited. How you do that is you need to be registered under East Africa Real Estate Board. As a broker, you get your real estate broker certificate. Then from there, you can be able now to work through and just look at developments that you want to broker or land that you want to broker as well. So then the second thing is also an agent. As well, you being an agent, you also need to be registered under the East Africa Real Estate Board, because now you also need to be accredited as well. They need to verify that you have the competency to be able now to act as an agent for any property. The third thing, you can be a developer. A developer means you own the land or you've got it, and now you can put up whether it's mansionettes, the various plans. So depending on your target market and what you're targeting, you need to understand your target market, because understanding your target market makes you know what to build, whether it's mansionettes, whether it's villas, whether it's apartments. So that's the first key thing.
Before you hit the ground running, take time to evaluate and prioritize your plans for the future. After the break, we meet a lady taking her hobby a notch higher.
Tomorrow on She.
Easter is the time we celebrate Jesus' death and resurrection. What does it mean to you?
33 years ago, on Good Friday, it was really good because on that day, God blessed us with a daughter. Internally, she had problems and we didn't know.
Immediately after the deliverance that God gave us, I started the work. Up to now, I have been winning souls.
The work he accomplished at the cross of Calvary makes us to be what we are.
It's tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.
It's time to roll out your mats and join this young lady in exploring a combination of physical and mental exercises that for years have hooked people around the globe.
My name is Maria Sarah Nunga Doisa. I manage properties, I farm, but what brought us here today is yoga, something that I began 6 years ago.
Maria explains that her interest in yoga was sparked by curiosity and desire to learn and explore.
My practices from books. I had, I think, 3 books. So from there, I was able to teach. But I'd say go a step further and get certification, whether it's from online, because my course was completely online, for 6 months. I didn't pay anything. It was a free session. So if you really have the desire, it finds you. I don't know how that opportunity found me, but it found me because I had the desire. So any student or anyone that wishes to teach, let them do the research. Let them go to the renowned certified schools online or visit AYP for Kenya. Yeah, but basically have the desire to drive you to research, and then you'll get the best school.
Although she started teaching with knowledge amassed from the internet, she expresses the importance of having a certification.
I recently got my 500-hour certification from India, but before then, I didn't have any certification, and I'd teach private students, community classes without a certification. But after I got my certification, I did see the pros and the cons, or rather the dangers that are present because of teaching yoga without a certification. So basically, for certification in Kenya, you need to perhaps go to some of the renowned schools. There's the Africa Yoga Project. That is one of the first sessions that I was attending, and it's taught by individuals who are certified. It's the best sessions I guess you can go for as per my experience. But to teach, I think, again, if you have that desire, because for me, I had the desire, and then my friends were like, I just, like, I just come to you, I want to feel, I have some tension in my back, I want to remove some of it, I just want to see what this is you're doing. Because I used to post it, I'd post on my social media, like just doing flows, and people were like, so you teach. And I didn't have certification, and I didn't think at that time that it's a hindrance. But the dangers that will come out of maybe teaching without certification will be you'd end up hurting your students in the long term. Like, you don't know that a certain pose that you're doing is actually not, it's been contemporarized so much that you don't know the dangers of what you're exposing your students to. So you don't need a certification, but you do need to educate yourself.
According to Maria, becoming a certified yoga instructor can seem like a daunting task, but it is incredibly rewarding.
I was blessed, honestly. I was blessed because the equivalent of the course I got was about 300 Kenya shillings, 300,000, Kenya shillings. And that is 500-hour yoga training. So it's 200 hours and it's 500 hours. I assume 200 hours would be around 150,000. So yes, you do have to pay, and if you get the opportunity to teach, or rather to get the certification without paying, then you're lucky. But I didn't have to pay for mine. Sorry, some students, or rather some teachers have had to pay. Yeah. I think also in AYP, Africa Yoga Project, it's either you get sponsorship or you just pay the amount, which is around roughly 100 to 300,000 Kenya shillings or more.
Unlike any other job, a typical working day for this young lady starts at the crack of dawn with a holistic routine.
It'd be waking up, and then I'd do the sun salutation right at the veranda. I loved to do it outside with the fresh air, the fresh, misty 6 a.m. air with the sun salutation. And then I'd practice the flow that I wanted to teach to my students on that particular day. I wanted my students to come in from 2 to, say, 4. So then it will just be attending to the students at that time. And then I'd love to have sessions where we actually connect. So I want to know what's going on. I incorporate and create a class, a session for them. So after, I'd like to give tea to my students as we connect, as they tell me more of their needs, more, just connecting. It's nikama therapy, but not exactly. So yeah, that's a session, hopefully done by 5. In the evening, I do now the intense workouts. So if it's lifting weights or if it's, just glutes, focusing on glutes, core. So that's what I do in the evening, and then I retire for bed with a nice dinner. But I tried, so our guru tells us dinner is not at least 3 hours to bedtime. So if it's 10, I'll take dinner at 7.
In this age of technology, social media is how new ventures find their customers.
They began from social media. So my friends would be like, can I come and just have a session with you? Then it's grown and grown. My mom has seen I have interest in it. She'll tell her friends, so just referrals, testimonials, YouTube, get students from my channel on YouTube. Where else? Yeah, I think it's mostly social media. So referrals, social media. I've built a brand around yoga and wellness. So that's mostly where they come from. And what to like, I just tell them, I do this. And they're like, can you teach me? There's this aura around yoga that it's, for certain people. So they're like, okay, let me just try with you and see. So yes, there's word of mouth as well.
Maria expresses that the benefits of a regular yoga practice are wide-ranging. A complete workout can help keep your back and joints healthy and improve overall body posture. However, the practice is not fully understood.
You need to have the desire and the intention. So obviously by then, you have done your own objective research. So that again, it's okay to have those misconceptions, but you need to dive in and understand, what is this I'm getting myself into? That's what I had to do, because even my family had those conceptions. So I had to educate myself in order to tell them, no, don't worry, there's nothing scary about yoga. It is all your intention. It is all everything starts with intention. If you're just completely physical about it, then make sure that is your intention. Me, I'd say it was 3 intentions. It was my health, it was my physical, spiritual, and mental health. What is your intention for yoga? Like, people will talk, but get your intention right and let it direct everything you do. Not just yoga, everything you do.
Even though she's still new in the yet-to-be-exploited market, this young lady has big dreams for her business.
Oh, in the next 5 years, I better have a studio. Studio, catalog of students, but more so a studio. So the catalog or the students that I've been getting throughout my practice will have at least somewhere to come for community classes, somewhere to, I don't want it to just be a yoga studio, so hopefully also a spa, because with water, it's very potent for healing. I think water is very powerful. The whole structure of water and then incorporating it with something like yoga. So for 5 years, that is what I see myself doing, and collaborating with other yoga instructors. And then we have a studio and we are teaching. We have a program every week, this time to this time. There's a flow, there's this session at the spa. Yeah.
Whether you're young or old, heavy or light, yoga, just like any other exercise, has the power to calm the mind and strengthen the body. And for anyone who would like to be an instructor,
so for anyone who'd like to be a yoga instructor, first have a burning desire to really bring this beautiful practice to people. Do your research. I think research is the most important thing for such practices. You must know the entire body, know the anatomy of the body, and then obviously get your certification from a renowned studio or yoga school, and have the passion, have the dedication and the passion, and everything will just fall into place for you and your business. And also, always with business, have the intention to be attracted to students that are aligned to your values, to your visions, and they will pay you accordingly for what you're offering to them. So it starts with you, and then reach out to the world and get the necessary information and requirements you need to teach yoga.